As a rose goes from limb to limb, fingertip to painted lip, she sways her way up to him. Says, now that your wallet is all lit up, now that your wallet is all lit up, now that buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car, buy this car to drive to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm like off camera right now. There we go. Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James. And today we're going to talk about Trump declaring a portion of the Iranian government as a terrorist organization. Or not the government, the military. A terrorist organization. Mike Gravel is running for president in 2020.
Didn't look right.
There we go. And also Jimmy Dore versus the New York Times on Venezuela. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box, and the website is in the intro to this video. Click that link, read the story, then donate some money. I mean, I'm sure we all know someone with medical problems, and we live in a country where we don't have free health care because, you know, the insurance company will lose all those jobs. So we need to keep paying them. So yeah, donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. Link in the description box. Thank you. Alright. First story I wanted to go over. I saw this on Twitter a couple days ago. And it's Trump administration declaring a portion of the Iranian government, Iranian military, as a terrorist organization. Now, this should alarm people quite a bit because, as we've known, if you looked at the history of the war on terror and where it started and how it started and the things that followed it, you'll realize that calling something or someone terror or terrorist gives you just open world.
This gives me carte blanche to roll in.
Yeah, there's no more jurisdiction.
Yeah.
We can bomb you now.
Almost as if calling a president a dictator. That means like, somewhere in a lunchroom. That means we can pave the way for a new guy to be president immediately. Yeah. So we don't recognize him as the president. He is.
So that was one of the main problems people had, was that if you say the war on terror, it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Because
it's just like the war on drugs.
Now there's no more such thing as borders or anything like that. I don't know why Jimmy Dore's on the street.
We just need justifiable cause. That's all we need. See, they're terrorists. It's good enough for me.
Yeah. Terror has
Fly up the jets.
Terror has no nation state. It has no, seat at the UN. There's no designated country like this is terror. It's like, nope, it's open world. Bomb whoever you call a terrorist.
Let me read this.
Go ahead.
Secretary Pompeo, an important step to counter the Iranian regime's terrorism, the U.S. has designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps incel. Oh, or that's what it means?
What? I was gonna wait to read that.
Oh,
but
I just want to get to the whole. We must help the people of Iran get back their freedom.
Yeah, jumping the gun. Trump, I love Trump. Trump is a good puppet. Says Nitram Case. It's a new person. Muay Thai is not a new person. I guess they're arguing with each other. What was so good about Obama?
Yep, have fun with that.
He spoke well.
He's a murderer.
Let's start from the top.
All right.
And this is Secretary Pompeo,
another
neocon,
soulless,
I would say pro-Israel no matter what. So Iran would be a big deal for him. The religious section of Christianity that wants the second coming of Jesus. So they need to help Israel at all costs, which means bombing the brown nations surrounding them. That. All right, go ahead, read it. If you want.
All right. In an important step to counter the Iranian regime's terrorism, the U.S. has designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, including
say Quads Force.
Quads Force? Okay.
Sounds make believe.
Including Quads Force as a foreign terrorist organization. We must help the people of Iran get back their freedom.
Now you can already hear the propaganda in the statement, right? First of all, they're talking about a section of the Iranian government.
Yeah.
Or I keep saying government, of the Iranian military. So, what?
Toasted said hi.
Oh, hey, Toasted. So when they say to counter the Iranian regime's terrorism, and they're only talking about a section of it, now that term terrorism can spread to the entire Iranian government. So now it's like, this is a terror state, which means no more, hey, Congress, can we do this? American people, can we do this? Because all of it's just blanketed under the term war on terror. I believe these things were written in the law. Like, now the president can just go to war when they want, as long as they know it's terror.
Or they call it that.
Yeah. Like Obama wanted to invade Syria, and people were like, fuck no.
Yeah.
But as soon as you turn it into terror, we were in Syria fighting ISIS. Well, fighting ISIS. Right? We're allowed to go there then. He doesn't need permission for that shit.
All I have to say is, it's basically right, It's like, it's a lot of resources Venezuela has. We can't ask them for that oil. We'll just say he's a dictator. Gives us carte blanche to fucking roll in if we need to.
Yeah, we can't pay them fair prices for some of their oil. It's like, no, we need
to launch economic warfare. Yeah.
We need to somehow make the world a worse place.
Yep.
They made it this bad, and they keep trying. They want more.
Well, it's not only that. I think people forget
It's
all the
fucking
others.
tyrants.
All the others.
Yeah.
The last, 70 years?
God, these guys are creepers, man. And I understand. I'm hearing Muay Thai being a Trump fan. Come on, dude. If you're doing it as like, a joke, all right. But you can't seriously be a fan of this fucking guy. Or Obama. I can't see you being a fan of either one of those.
Well, if you are, you clearly don't know, what they've done.
Not with the information we have.
The information I have access to.
Yeah. Also, here's another tweet. The Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, tweeted this out, which I thought was hilarious. Says, Iran breeding in the Middle East. They mean terror. And that's supposed to be a belly that's pregnant.
Yeah.
With terror. They might be the worst, tweeters for themselves, for their own motives, what they want to get done. They might be the worst at it. I've seen some pretty it's like, this is the worst propaganda I've ever heard. They might be the worst at propaganda, but we fund them anyways, so it doesn't really matter to them, probably. Well, our government funds them. And geez, what did Netanyahu say? What is he using as his platform now? That he wants something to do with Iran. And he's using that as a way to get reelected. Which
he's using terror.
Yeah, and their elections are coming up soon.
Fear porn, I like to call it.
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't vote for me, hey.
Yeah.
Deaths of millions. Yeah. We're all gonna die.
Needham K says all the puppets get their scripts from the same masters.
Basically.
In a metaphorical way, yeah. I mean, Obama followed what Trump did.
Yeah.
Or not what Trump. Obama followed what Bush did. For the most part.
If you look at keeping up illegal wars, Trump's did the same thing.
Yeah, when it comes to military, they seem to follow the trend.
Yeah.
When it comes to little topics that gets the American people fighting with each other, those are where
That's
they
different.
differ.
That's different.
Muay Thai says, I'm not joking. I'm with Trump. Just normal white bread, bro. Yeah, he's probably responsible for a shitload of women and children dying.
He's a murderer,
If
dude.
you're okay with that.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, all right. Tosa says, are you anti all types of intervention? No. I'm anti-war interventions. You can intervene, as Bill Hicks would say, intervene with bombs filled with food and water.
No,
and shit.
it's like cannons.
Yeah.
Can we just, put that banana in there? And that guy seems hungry way over there.
Yeah. Precision food drop-offs.
That shit was hilarious.
Yeah,
Instead
I don't
of-
mind. Yeah.
Like a TF-20. Press this button right here.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's try this one.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm alright with like food and water and aid like that. The problem is, well, who knows if people trust that nowadays.
I know.
I've heard stories of Venezuela where they had food aid, but hidden inside are weaponry and shit.
Yeah.
For the opposition.
Yeah, for the rebels.
No one can see me do that. The opposition.
Yeah. Right? And here's the shit. Oh, you want food?
Yeah.
Like, just, fly over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Drop it off.
Yeah.
That's it. Good. That's enough. That's it.
A lot of these scenarios, like almost with.
Hold on. My bad. Just to include it, why are some people in the Venezuela, some of the Venezuelan people are hungry? Why?
Yeah.
So.
Almost
Oh.
with every issue with this country, the United States, has something to do with intervening in another people's government
Yeah.
or their country. You can see it almost blatantly. All the economic problems. Well, we overspend probably about $200 billion on the military budget
Yeah.
just to feed the wallets of these weaponry creators,
Contracting.
tank creators. Yeah, subsidizing these
Boeing.
military. Yeah, subsidizing these
Boeing.
these death machine creators.
Yeah. Look at all those jets. Wonder what they use those for.
Yeah, terrorism. We basically helped start that shit by funding the Mujahideen in Afghanistan to fight the Soviets. See, we were fighting communism then, and then all of a sudden it turned into terrorism. Those guys are like, well, thanks for training us and giving us these weapons. Now we're going to use them against you. If that, going by the official story, there's conspiracy theories out there, but
Hard to
immigration,
imagine.
refugees. Well, if we don't intervene in these countries, maybe they won't want to leave their homes. Just normal people leaving their homes.
Maybe a mother and their two children won't try to run past immigration in a desperate attempt to, I don't know, live somewhere safe.
Yeah. Oh, cartels.
Considered safe.
Cartels and drugs. Well, the war on drugs. You can see our hands, the government's hands, in all these things.
It's like fingerprints.
That,
Look hard enough, you'll find them.
yeah. Ron DeMan, the Don. My bad.
The Don.
Is that a real tweet? Yeah, the IDF. Yeah, that's a real fucking tweet.
Isn't that cringy?
Both tweets were
Fucking
real.
creepy.
Pompeo and the IDF, real
Insane.
tweets.
Yeah. Kyle, what's his name? Kyle what?
Kalinsky.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? And he retweeted it.
Yeah, that's where I got that one from.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Muay Thai. Yeah, so you probably have a problem with most of America's presidents then.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can see the military blood trail just hanging behind each of these fucking each of these presidents. You can see it.
It's literally either these guys.
It's like a tradition.
Either these guys were corrupt, they had an idea what was going on, or they're just completely ignorant.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that they are corrupt.
Yeah.
The majority of them. And there's evidence for that.
Yeah. And also, okay, there's the on the surface stuff, and then there's things that, like, CIA and things that people do outside without the president even knowing. Like, oh, we're gonna bomb your
Yeah, I remember Ryan Dawson.
We're gonna do this
Ryan
anyway.
Dawson talked about how it's being like, separate like organizations, like an entity within your own government. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the CIA and the FBI will fuck with each other or something like that,
Yeah. Tosa said, "Are you against putting sanctions on countries?"
Yes.
I would.
When it comes to food.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not against putting sanctions on. You're just used to what the sanctions we do nowadays.
That's what I
I'm
mean.
talking about sanctions like, sorry, we're not selling you this particular type of metal that
That's
you
what
use
I mean,
to make these
right?
shells or these guns.
Like, you'll get no PS4s. Haha, sanctions. That's not what I meant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I meant like food, water, resources, you know?
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of, you know, what sanctions does, you know, as far as food supply and whatnot. It's awful.
Yeah.
What it can do.
Muay Thai says, why don't you talk about Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, and Mexico being 1/3 of the murders of the world every year? Because I don't live there. I'm not an expert on these areas. I understand the hand that we've played there. If you send me some sources, I'll look into it and do a video on it. I have no problem calling out drug dealers and, well, it's not the drug dealing I mind. It's the murders and the crime, the peripheral crimes that happen with it.
This is what I mean, though.
I need territory. I need to take these guys out.
Sure.
That type of shit.
It's not like that, though, right? It's the murders and all that stuff, you know? Like, why don't you talk about them? Well, to be fair, right? I'm looking at, like, how shit like this, well, like, big governments, not only the U.S. government, it could be a bunch of other governments, right? UK, I can keep going, right?
Yeah.
How all these as a collective open the fucking doorway for that crap to happen.
Yeah.
Like, a certain country becomes a third world country, and they become, like, murder state capital, you know what I mean?
But at the same time, the drug dealer guys that behead people and shoot people, those guys are on the line too.
Yeah. Oh, no. They're
It's
just
these
as
guys.
bad.
Just the government shit is just so glaring.
Yeah.
And the amount of resources they have. I mean, the resources to do good are so overwhelming.
Oh,
and they don't use it.
No.
It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, no.
These gangs are probably poor people that are like, I'm not be poor anymore.
They're poor, stupid fuckers.
I'm gonna take advantage of this
They're
shit.
stupid. Poor, stupid people.
They join gangs. They do whatever. It's like,
it's ignorant people, or it's fucking ignorant, desperate people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or corrupt assholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're like here. But as long as they do something on that spectrum, it's like, you're just as bad. You're right next to this dude. Yeah. You're right next to that dude that pressed the button for fucking missiles to be fired on a village. You know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Tosa says, how would you deal with Hitler? Would you just let him kill all these people? No. I don't need to nuke the area and kill all of Germany.
I don't need to drop a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
No.
Also, if you look at the precursors to Hitler in the first, like this, it goes back to the same thing every time.
I know.
When you talk about immigrate, like, what are you just gonna let criminals run across the border? Like, no. But if you look at how this all started,
look how Hitler came to be.
Yeah.
Follow that money trail.
Or
you're saying it's the U.S. again? I'm like, no. I'm saying it's a group of businessmen
who will never be affected by these.
Never.
Things.
They're dead.
Except financially.
Yeah. James Corbett has a specific video about this. You know.
Yeah.
Like, who funded Hitler's campaign? You know. His political rise to power. Who funded that?
He had a lot of American businessmen as supporters, just so you know. Also, just the practical on the surface level, right? Germany was, like, fucking destroyed after World War I.
Yeah.
So, here comes some guy with a loud mouth and charismatic voice, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, he can sway people. Like, look what happened to
us.
He
can sway ignorant, desperate people.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, that can happen. Toasted says, you will probably hate every president except for Ron Paul. We're about to get to a guy I might like, too.
Who?
I also might like Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard.
I don't trust him.
He said Ron Paul. Like, we might like Ron Paul. Like, yeah, bro. There's a good chance. I like me as president better than anyone, so take that.
I want it differently. I want it different. I don't want one person. It should be a collective of people. Just straight up.
Yeah. I mean, just out of the Democratic primaries, you could probably pick out like 3 or 4 names there, and you can make an all-star team.
That's what I'm saying.
On its own, as far as relative compared to what we've always had in politicians. Neutron case, we only attacked Hitler when he declared war on the USA. Ford and other companies was doing business with Hitler during the war. Yeah. IBM. How do you think the Jews got those numbers on their arms? How are they computing those? Oh, well, good old IBM. They seem to help out. Henry Ford, I think he has like journals or diaries or something with support for Hitler. Jeez.
Now, the other interesting thing is, right?
Go watch The Corporation. Go watch that documentary or read the book or something.
One of the interesting things about like World War II is, right, that the U.S. originally, right, as far as government-wise, it's like, maybe we should go to the war. And the popular opinion was like, no, neutral.
Yeah.
And then,
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Then you look at that event alone, how that came to be, right? Oh, Japan just suddenly attacked us. The U.S. didn't have anything to do like this. Like, come on, do something.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Huh?
Yeah.
And you have a country, right, full of people, just like a majority of the world, I would say. Ignorant, corruption, you know. Oh, you keep fucking with us, we'll bomb you, you know.
Yeah.
And see, we have to go to war now. Just like fucking September 11th, man.
That's
creepy.
Possible. I wouldn't compare those situations so much.
What I'm saying is this. An event that, according to some resources, right, they had information telling them months prior that something like this may happen, specifically.
Okay.
And they did nothing about it.
Okay.
And then after such events, right, they went into war. Or it gave them carte blanche to go to war. Then you look at the percentage amount of people, as far as popular opinion, that were, as far as at one point opposed to such a thing, then after the event, right, the horrible event, whatever you want to call it, in favor of it, skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So that's why I get what you mean, but it's very similar.
Okay.
We're gonna sway you.
Yeah. Yours has. And I probably agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm trying to at least put the practical point of view as opposed to the conspiracy version. Even though the conspiracy version sounds very legitimate to me. I've seen people go over documents and transcripts and all that.
I understand.
But I want both narratives to be out. Because just on a practical level, you can knock down the bullshit.
I could use more too.
Yeah.
I could use more specific event where as far as it has been, right, on a social understanding, proved that this was a false pretense to enter a war, which was Vietnam.
Okay. All right.
You have a fear campaign that was launched.
Oh yeah, I mean.
And then
the
look, a boat. Boom.
All right, Muay Thai says in Ireland we don't have to worry about any garbage like that whatsoever. It's good living here. Immigration is going to destroy this country, though.
Ireland, huh?
Maybe.
I heard some stuff. I don't exactly remember what, but I'll have to research that. But immigration is not going to be the thing that destroys a country.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I did hear your government actually allowed itself to boycott Israeli goods.
I was surprised.
Instead of making it illegal. Making it illegal for companies.
I got worried.
Them.
I got worried when that happened. You know, I figured, you know, like is some horrible thing gonna happen? You know.
Yeah.
To Ireland when they announced that they're boycotting Israeli goods. So, remember that? We're like, oh no, something bad might happen.
There's sort of.
What I mean is, as far as media goes.
That seems like a day story, and then it's dead. Like, no one cares.
There's always someone.
If the U.S. did that, then it's major global stories.
There's always someone that just fucking beats it to a fucking beats a dead horse. You know what I mean?
All right, Neutrum case says CIA imports the majority of cocaine into the U.S. Military imports most of the heroin. I've heard that before.
Same.
Toasted. Did you see Andrew Yang on Ben Shapiro? I haven't watched it yet. I did see the video there. I haven't watched it yet. I will get to that. I know you DM'd me about it. I will watch that.
Originally, I was turned off. Like, you guys are gonna talk about fucking foreskin, but then right, you explained to me how like, how this is actually gonna can be important.
Well, I wouldn't say important.
Well,
it would be a gotcha for Ben Shapiro.
What I mean is how that specific topic, right? Can kind of tie into Shapiro's other arguments and somewhat expose him even more.
Well, it'd be a gotcha scenario. It wouldn't be a... Like, I care more about the ethical arguments of things.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more of a gotcha. It's a logical gotcha.
What I'm saying is it sets up, right? Something like that, even though I wouldn't fucking do it, because it's like, I'm not here to talk about fucking foreskin,
Yeah.
People, what's right. Right, it opens the doorway for it. Like, see how this your review on this probably contradicts everything else you say.
Yeah.
So,
Muay Thai says Artem Lobov, send Artem Lobov to Mexico to get him to wipe out the cartels. Just give him like an army helmet.
Who's funding the cartels?
Tosa says Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders are for some intervention. Ron Paul is for absolutely none. No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say Sanders might be for some intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Tulsi would be more for fighting terrorists themselves. And I think she means it in a real way, not in a everything's a terrorist. We go bomb everywhere.
I'm against that as well.
But
I don't trust her, man.
She's talking about toppling governments. That's what we're talking about with intervention. And also the same thing with Ron Paul. If it's terrorists, he'll fight terrorists. He doesn't mean toppling governments. I would say Ron Paul and Tulsi Gabbard are very similar. Probably the same on foreign policy. Muay Thai, do you think 9/11 was an inside job? Flashback to 2003. 9/11 was an inside job.
As far as it being an inside job, the only thing I can really say is this. Look at the events. What?
No, I said shit.
Oh. Look at the events prior to that day. Really zero in what happened. Like, forget the fucking free fall speed, The events that happened prior and the events that happened after that. That's what screams something's weird. So whether it be an inside job or not, as far as somebody capitalizing on some sort of horrific event, that's absolutely 100% something fucking weird going on here.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and all the main countries had their hands in it. They found some sort of way to get an advantage in some area.
Yeah.
So whether the U.S. government did it or they knew it was going to happen or
that's why I made the comparison.
It happened and they took advantage of it. It's like there's a whole bunch of scenarios there.
Ryan Dawson's the guy to... Ryan Dawson, James Corbett. These are the guys to really go to for more information on that.
All right. Toast is talking to Muay Thai. Muay Thai says, a plan to bring in 1 million immigrants to Ireland. No thanks. I like my country and culture the way it is. I think it's crazy to think the government done that. Oh, talking about 9/11.
You think it's crazy to think the government would do such a thing?
The inside job.
You think it's crazy that the U.S. government will lie to its people in order to engage them into some sort of war by false pretenses to make some sort of business profit? I don't think so.
If you just
come on, man.
If you just look at the money changing hands, it's like you could see it why a criminal would do it, but it's hard to see why a government would do it.
I look. I'm sure there's people within our government or other governments that are somewhat genuine, but they're ignorant. So I view governments as far as the U.S. government as like a fucking mafia. That's what I look at it as.
All right, last couple comments, and we'll get back to the video.
Yeah.
Have your timestamps ready.
They're right here.
I would say with the immigrants, like, once again, it could be something else that's causing refugees.
Sure.
And whatever to come into your country in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. If you have people with their homes destroyed.
Oh, by the way, I don't think you should have a problem with, a group of people of some other fucking ethnicity or culture.
Yeah,
going into your country and be worried about, like, my culture's going to disappear. It's like, what?
Yeah, that'd be a silly argument. If you mean, like, just having healthy people around, like, fine. But those healthy people also don't want to move into your country. I don't think they want to do that. They want to stay in the homes they grew up in and shit.
Yeah.
The country they grew up in. It's just getting bombed.
Like, I don't want to leave this place, you know what I mean?
Or sanctioned to where they have no resources there. Or the threat of being bombed.
Yeah.
That's always a constant in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple comments, then we'll get back to the video. Mm-hmm. Not to be offensive, but you guys sound a lot like Alex Jones.
Jones. Oh my God. Alex Jones. He's one of the last people I'd ever fucking trust as far as information regarding anything.
Yeah.
That dude seems like straight up either he's entertainment and he knows what the fuck he's doing, or he's very delusional.
If you're going off the 9/11 thing, you should, if we look more into actual evidence, we'll sound a lot less like Alex Jones.
Yeah. He'll point you a completely different way. That's why Ryan Dawson earlier on, like years ago, it's like, this guy, unreal, putting out bullshit information.
Okay. Toasted heard the interview with Andrew Yang, and Andrew Yang seemed to agree a lot with Shapiro. Maybe, but he seems to be that way in front of whoever he's in front of.
Yeah.
He seems to be like, when I hear him in interviews, he sounds a lot like he's just reflecting with the person, unless it's his topic, which is the UBI.
That guy can play patty cake with other people. When he's alone in that fucking, like, whatever, that booth or whatever, his room on the desk, the show, his Ben Shapiro show, like, he won't show that face to nobody. I haven't seen it. You know what I mean?
I was talking about Yang.
Oh, I thought you meant Shapiro.
No, I think Yang reflects whoever's the
did you see it?
The person interviewing him. I think he'll
Dore?
always, I think he'll always be like, just to avoid conflict, play like a nice middle ground. Except unless it's his topic, which is UBI.
Oh.
That's like his thing.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, questions being asked, are they the right questions?
Yeah. Do you own guns? I don't own a gun, but there is one in the house.
I don't know that.
You took up everything I said. Gay frogs for life.
I took up everything. What?
I don't know what that's a reference to. Let us know. We'll get back to it when we're going to continue on now.
Oh, he means Jones. Gay frogs.
Right. I know the gay frogs is Jones.
That fucking.
All right, put on
joke.
3358. All right, our next story is Mike Gravel is running for president officially. See if I can get a better view of this. Now, I know Mike Gravel. I don't know him personally, but I know of him from when I was first starting to look into politics, and I was curious about things happening. Now, how did we get to this point? So I'd go back and look into the debates. I actually went back and watched hours of the Democratic debates and the Republican debates. That's how I found out about Ron Paul. That's how I found out about Mike Gravel. I was curious about Barack Obama. I didn't really pay attention to Hillary Clinton so much. But I found out about Dennis Kucinich And this guy was, I would say, a savage. A guy who I'm like, oh, I wonder where he placed. No, didn't really place that high in the primary votes. It always goes to the corporate candidates of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. That whole race was about those two people. Kucinich, Gravel, they're not going to be the winners. Ron Paul, you're not going to be the winner. Sorry. You're not corporate enough. But today, I think things have changed. I don't think people are just going to take they all basically believe in the same thing. But who do we like more as a person?
Mm-hmm.
That's Republican and Democrats. I don't think they look at candidates anymore and just say, oh, they all basically agree with the same things, you know. Who has more experience, or who has this going on for them? Like the finalists, I would say, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Well, Barack Obama didn't vote for the Iraq War, and Hillary did. That made a separation there. But they basically agree on the same thing. So, this time around, I think Mike Gravel is going to play the same role he did in this 2008 Democratic debate.
if anything, it's going to be a little more detailed. But, no, actually, a lot more detailed, because when you hear Tulsi Gabbard talk on the CNN town hall,
yeah,
I'm no fan of her, but what she said was very interesting as far as our government lied to us into wars.
Yeah.
So, well, I expect details from this dude.
I expect him to be like a kamikaze. Just like I know I'm not gonna win, but these ideas have to be on the stage.
Yeah,
and
he's there to, like, I'm gonna force you guys to talk about this.
Yeah, and these corporate candidates are gonna have to respond to me.
Yeah.
So he is more than welcome by my standards. We're gonna just play like a highlight tape of one of the debates back in 2008. Here's Mike Gravel.
And former Alaska Senator Mike Gravel. Senator, thank you. And Senator Gravel, for those who may not be familiar with your past, 2 terms U.S. Senate from Alaska, you played a role in the fight to cut off money for the Vietnam War. What would be your advice, Senator, for the elected officials on this stage who are at a conflict, opposed to the conflict, but also feel the need to keep on funding the conflict?
Well, first off, understand that this war was lost the day that George Bush invaded Iraq on a fraudulent basis. Understand that. Now, with respect to what's going on in the Congress, I'm really embarrassed. So we passed, and the media is in a frenzy right today with what has been passed. What has been passed? George Bush communicated over a year ago that he would not get out of Iraq until he left office. Do we not believe him? We need to find another way. That's where I really would like to sit down with Pelosi and with Reid, and I would hope the other senators would focus on, how do you get out? You pass the law, not a resolution, a law, making it a felony to stay there. And I'll give you the text of it. And if you're worried about filibuster, here's what you do tactically. They can pass it in the House. We got the votes there. In the Senate, let them filibuster it. And let Reid call up at 12 o'clock every day to have a cloture vote, and let the American people see clearly who's keeping the war going and who's not. And that's just the beginning of the tactic if they're tough enough to do it.
Senator.
Look.
So a direct appeal to the people. That's one of the things I've heard. Which I'm like, I look at these guys and I can't get this bill passed because of the Republicans. Well, you know, go around them and go right to the people. Mm-hmm. And he's saying this before, like, Twitter's popular and YouTube's popular and all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Go right to the people with a message.
Wait, what did you say? Or Twitter and what?
Like, YouTube is, like, super popular.
Oh.
Go around them.
Yeah.
Clearly he's against the war.
Yeah.
He wanted to make it illegal to actually be there. And we went there on illegal standards, basically.
Yeah. On many accounts, you could say.
Yeah.
Not just, well, you can't do that. It's like, no. You said fuck you to this law. Fuck you to this law. Not only that, right?
Well, it plays a role into our first topic, where when you name something as terror or terrorist, now it's not. It's like, maybe we don't need the Congress for this. Let's just do it. Even though they got Congress's vote for Iraq somehow. Oh, by lying to us. That's how they did that.
So I have my lawyers here telling me I didn't do anything wrong. You see,
this guy needs to be in the debates.
Well, he'll expose a lot of guys.
You can't have.
He's in a way. What do you call it?
Yeah.
What's the best analogy for my how you say it? Gravel?
Yeah, he's a. Is he a sheepdog?
No.
Or he keeps like wolves away or something.
No, think of him like, hey, I'm not really here to last. I'm not really gonna win the battle. I'm here to really really show you show people here like what's going on. So as far as bringing up a topic or bringing up numerous topics to be like shed light on, that probably if that dude wasn't there, mind you, if I'm sure that if there was like a select group of people that are typically corporate Democrats, or even like corporate Republicans, whatever have you, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy to have it like, look, these fuckers are fake.
Yeah.
They stand for this. They're willing to do this. Compromise like morals and what have you,
Yeah. I mean, like I think Bernie and Tulsi would bring these up. They'd bring up the topics of war and interventionist wars, but Gravel he won't be so nice about it.
You shouldn't be nice.
He's like a parent he's scolding kids. That's what that looked like.
You shouldn't be nice about it.
Well, he doesn't have to be nice about it.
No, you shouldn't be.
No.
You shouldn't be nice about it.
Whatever.
Unreal.
But you'll see him, even when they change topics, he'll bring it back to that. He'll bring it back to the war, the illegal war. This would be like, every question, I'm going to pull it back to the Iraq war, just so you know about it. Too many people don't know about this. All right.
Senator Gravel, at a forum earlier this year, I want to get this right. You said it doesn't matter whether you are elected president or not. So then, why are you here tonight? Shouldn't debates be for candidates who are in the race to win the race?
Ryan.
See, he already says, I'm not even here to win. Let's hear why he's here.
You're right, I made that statement, but that's before I had a chance to stand with them three times. It's like going into the Senate. The first time you get there, you're all excited, my God, how did I ever get here? Then about 6 months later, you say, how the hell did the rest of them get here? And I got to tell you, after standing up with them, some of these people frighten me. They frighten me. When you have mainline candidates that turn around and say that there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, that's code for using nukes, nuclear devices. I got to tell you, I'm President of the United States. There will be no preemptive wars with nuclear devices. To my mind, it's immoral, and it's been immoral for the last 50 years as part of American foreign policy.
Let's use a little moderation.
Seems pretty simple.
People laughed at that.
And as you can see, we're pushing for a war with Iran right now. Just saying, man.
Tulsi fanboy.
It's like, well, she's actually talking about that.
I don't trust her.
She's talking about ramping up to fight Iran.
Greater discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top tier ones.
That's like a...
He does not hesitate. He turns and looks. He's like, right there. He fucking turns and looks at all of them.
Probably about...
That's the funniest thing ever.
1, 2, 3, 4... You could probably say the whole fucking panel.
The way he
Especially
turns.
her.
The way he turns, you just see, he's like,
yep. Yeah, play it back. I didn't see it. I was fucking...
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top tier ones. the top tier ones. They've made statements. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. Update policy.
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top tier ones. The top tier ones. They've made statements. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country. I got to tell you, we should just plain get out. Just plain get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. And why not get out? What harm is it going to do? Oh, you hear the statement, well, my God, these soldiers will have died in vain. The entire deaths of Vietnam died in vain. And they're dying in vain right this very second. And you know what's worse than a soldier dying in vain? Is more soldiers dying in vain. That's what's worse.
Short answer.
And yet
he had no chance of winning. Yeah, and they're talking to each other. Right? We'll get to comments, don't worry.
At the end of this.
Yeah. So he just turns and looks and says, you know, the top guys. There's Biden, there's Clinton, there's Obama, right? All three are in a row right next to each other. Like the top guys right there. He knew that. A lot of, actually, that's when the country was more asleep, I would say, at 2008. Right?
Anybody with good intentions, right, if they really pay attention, could fucking see this shit like a mile away. If you're really going to look into something.
Well, if you're really looking for charisma points, like, oh, he's charismatic about being upset with these guys.
Good intentions, what I meant to say is good intentions, you're just looking into these things. Just look into it.
Yeah.
Why isn't this guy talking about his policies? Hope and change, though, right? Fuck out of here.
He talked about policy.
It's distinctively what?
He didn't get voted in for policy. Times have changed, man. That's what the person I was arguing with. It's like, things have changed now. Now it's policy driven. But back then it was hope and change because we had George Bush. If we're going
like as far as specifically like policies geared towards where, like foreign policy.
He had pretty detailed foreign policy.
Are you sure? What do you say?
All right, McCain was pro staying in Iraq.
Right.
Obama was against staying in Iraq.
Okay.
Instead, pulling those troops out and moving them into Afghanistan instead. And he got pretty specific about it.
Oh, wonderful. All right. My fault, but still. You have no example of someone who just did a 180.
Yeah, people assumed...
That guy should have been...
Here's where the image comes in. People assumed when he said, let's get out of Iraq, people assumed that meant like, yes, he gets voted in. A month later, we're out of Iraq. They didn't realize it meant months, years... We left, but we're still there. Oh, we left all this equipment behind.
Right, yeah. If we're starting from that point, 2008, that guy. What happened? Oh, you're a liar. Goodbye. Get out.
Yeah.
Like, let the door hit you on the way out, man.
Yeah.
Right. Nope, nothing. All right. Fuck it. Fuck everybody else's lives, right?
Let's continue.
Question, one sentence, and I'm going to ask each of you, beginning with Senator Gravel. This is from Paula in Conway, South Carolina. What is the most significant political or professional mistake you have made in the past 4 years, and what, if anything, did you learn from this mistake which makes you a better candidate? And make the sentence no longer than 20 seconds, okay? Senator Gravel.
I've just grown up. I'm the senior statesman on here, and I was beginning to feel like a potted plant standing over here. But let me point out to you, in one sentence, I won't...
That meant he wasn't getting enough questions. They weren't really talking to him as much as they were.
They will fucking
with the main
pretend
guys.
He's not there.
Yeah.
Hold their youth and inexperience against... In one feel like a potted plant standing over here. But let me point out to you, in one sentence, I won't hold their youth and inexperience against them.
Thank you, sir.
Same question. Other than Iraq, three most important enemies to the United States.
We have no important enemies. What we need to do is to begin to deal with the rest of the world as equals. And we don't do that. We spend more as a nation on defense than all the rest of the world put together. Who are we afraid of? Who are you afraid of, Brian? I'm not. And Iraq has never been a threat to us. We invaded them. I mean, it is unbelievable. The military-industrial complex not only controls our government, lock, stock, and barrel, but they control our culture.
Now, hearing a guy say that on a stage, say those words, military-industrial complex, it's like, oh, that's very interesting. That means he's up on, he's been up on his reading about how the U.S. moves in these foreign affairs and their foreign policies and their regime changes and I'd say unethical wars and all this. That's a commonly used term, military-industrial complex. So I think he's hip to that. The problem is the nation couldn't see that at this time. I think we're in a different world now. I think things are completely policy-driven. And if they have like 20 seconds to answer something, they'll accept that as an answer. You're not going in depth with policy.
20 seconds.
He's not going in depth with policy, but he has a chance to say something meaningful in those 20 seconds. So they'll accept that. If you're just gonna get that short little answer, they'll accept that over someone giving policy about absolute bullshit. We need to stay in Syria, and Assad gassed his own people, should bomb them. Iran's next. Like, yeah. That's just me guessing the temperature in the nation. I think policy, righteous policy, is the winner in this year's Democratic primary. That's going to be the winner. Which is why I think people think it's so important for Tulsi Gabbard to be on stage. Right? We just saw the Young Turks, who are considered, super lefties. They were just talking about Peter Buttigieg, and they're like, where's the policy at? Right? Those guys are considered the lefties of lefties. And they're asking where the policy's at. We're in a different game. I don't think that people are just going to get candidates like Gravel are just going to get washed away like he did here.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ron Paul's aren't just going to get washed away.
No, they'll stick out.
I mean,
he probably notices it too.
If they don't pay attention to these guys, you're going to fucking hear about it from someone who has more viewers than you do.
Yeah.
Right? Jimmy Dore's going to be like, boop, boop. Hey, Joe, can I get on the show?
Probably not.
I think he would. He'd do it on his show. If he didn't see the numbers were enough, he'll call up. I think he'd call up Joe. Say, can I get a show on
Who are you talking about? Rogan?
Yeah.
I doubt that.
I think Jimmy Dore can get a call in if he wanted to.
I don't know if he's going to automatically do that to just straight up.
I think he would.
I don't.
Joe doesn't want no conflict. He doesn't want the conflict.
Joe's a punk.
Yeah, man, we're all friends. Come on.
There's no room for that.
All right, here we go. All right, we will get to comments after this little segment.
Your 2 terms in the Senate representing Alaska sat on top of course, a huge reserve of oil. With the French system as the model, is the United States, in your view, woefully behind in its use of nuclear energy?
No, not at all. I think there had to be a maturation process, and I'm the one that started the nuclear critique in this country. I'm also the one that denied the boots on the ground for George Bush today when I filibustered at the end of the draft. And I'm also the one that brought about the Alaska pipeline by 1 vote in the Congress. So when you ask about the energy issues or the other issues, let me just tell you, I want to answer the question on the war and on what's going on. We are mischaracterizing terrorism. Terrorism has been with civilization from the beginning, and it will be there till the end. We're going to be as successful fighting terrorism as we are fighting drugs with a war. It doesn't work. What you have to do is to begin to change the whole foreign policy. The Republicans who are charging Democrats about not going for the defense of this country, my God, this invasion brought about more terrorists. Osama bin Laden must have been rolling in his blankets.
Senator,
how happy he was over our invading Iraq.
Time is it.
See, question about oil. Where does he bring it back to? Foreign policy, foreign wars.
You have to.
We don't have to. I think that's part of his kamikaze plan, which is we're going to make sure that this is talked about. Even though we're like, oh, what do you think about abortion? Well, the war in Iraq, like, see how he brings it back to this topic.
That's a little... That's a stretch.
I'm exaggerating, but he's trying to bring it back to this.
I like the
war.
oil one a lot better.
Well, that's what happened here.
Oh.
I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
He's going to try to bring it back to this thing.
Well, yeah, again, he's not there to win, right? I think he knows he's not going to win. He's trying to shed light on something, right? This is what's really happening.
Making that...
I'm not going to win, but I'm trying to say this.
Making that the most important topic.
Yeah.
It probably was. Here we go.
Mr. Gravel, 30 seconds, please.
No, with respect to Iran, we've invading. Osama bin Laden must have been rolling in his blankets. How happy he was over our invading Iraq.
Time is Senator Gravel, 30 seconds, please.
No, with respect to Iran, we've sanctioned them for 26 years. We scared the bejesus out of them when the president says they're evil. Well, you know something? These things don't work. They don't work. We need to recognize them. And you know something? Who is the greatest violator of the Non-Proliferation Treaty? The United States of America. We signed a pledge that we would begin to disarm, and we're not doing it. We're expanding our nukes. Who the hell are we going to nuke?
Senator,
tell me, Barack, who are you want to nuke?
I'm not planning to nuke anybody right now, Mike. I promise.
Good. We're safe for a while.
Senator,
he said, right now, I'm not planning. He's like, we're safe for a while. I don't know if anyone caught that.
What was it? Non-per what?
What?
The treaty.
The I can't say the word. Proliferation treaty.
Okay.
It's one of those words. Sorry. Like Hillary. Barely say that word. Yeah, like I said, he continuously brings it back to... It's like he completely understands the damage that wars cause, whether it's for righteous means or corrupt means or whatever, financial means. Whatever their reason for going to war, he understands the cost of it. And he keeps bringing that back up because I would say that's why when I hear candidates, I always look for their foreign policy first. That's the first thing I look at, because that'll give me a good measurement of how empathetic they would be with other things, like Medicare for all. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to bomb someone in another country, maybe you'll be thinking more of everyone get free healthcare here. I don't know. They seem to translate to me. That's why I always look at foreign policy first. Anything? That's basically the end of the clip. Nothing but clapping left, probably.
Senators both, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Fuck him. Fucking. It's one thing, to be somewhat transparent, and run on, and hopefully everyone's ignorant enough to buy your bullshit. It's another thing just to absolutely run on hope.
Yeah.
Like this dude did.
Now let's talk about
man.
This was just an old clip, 2008 Democratic presidential debates, primaries, whatever. How does this translate for this year's primary debates? If Mike Gravel makes it, right? He's just starting. He's gonna have to make the 65,000 donations, or I think it's at least have 1%. At least have 1 point in the polling in 20 different states or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact rules. Let's just say he makes it in. What will be his role there? I mean, I think his role will be to expose the corporate Democrats that are wearing the mask of progressive.
Oh, sure. He knows he's not going to win. His objective is right.
Yeah.
To shed light on matters that no one's going to fucking touch. Or people, just wait. Or if they do fucking talk about them, it's going to be brief, quick, that's it.
I think it'll be more of an exposure of the neoliberal, the corporate Democrats.
That's what I mean.
He won't be able to move Tulsi Gabbard to the left.
You're going to show a separation as far as Mike Gravel, Tulsi Gabbard. As far as on the surface, those people, Bernie, and then the corporate Democrats.
You could probably throw Andrew Yang in there.
Yang.
But these other guys...
Unfortunately, the Russia shit.
These other guys, their voting records won't allow them. So Mike Gravel could question Tulsi Gabbard on foreign policy, let's say. Let's say he grills her about foreign policy. She can be like, well, I voted against this. I actually went to Syria and tried to talk to the guy. I'm against the thing, and I'm against the coup in Venezuela. I'm against us ramping up aggression against Iran. Like, she has evidence for her thing. But if he calls out Cory Booker, and it's like, do you have anything to back up what you're saying, or are you just saying it? Are you saying it to cherry pick votes, or do you actually mean this? So he could end up exposing those type of candidates. The Kamala Harris's, he will murk Joe Biden.
Oh yeah, Joe Biden doesn't. That's what I mean.
If they actually get to the 20+ candidates, to where they have to have 2 separate groups debating, they better separate those two.
Oh, they will.
Because he will go right for his neck.
Yeah.
He already did in this one.
Yeah.
He will go right for Biden's neck.
He called him out. Hey Joe.
Yeah. Biden would be the most exposed out of everyone. If Gravel's on the stage,
like,
and Biden's there, he'd be the most exposed.
You exclude the fucking, like, this little fucking creepy finger hand touching thing. Exclude that. Look what this guy's been involved in. Like, you're fucked, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some of these comments. Those two are talking to each other. After, when we start, I'll give you a timestamp. Langston Travis, charisma is currency that buys idiots. Yeah, but I think times are changing. There's still idiots left. I feel bad about calling them idiots, but there's still those ignorant people are still out there.
Depends what you mean. Yeah.
But I think the majority are these younger people coming up that are like, what's your policy, dude? What's going on here? Even if they can get tricked at like a later... I suspect that someone can say the right words and then get into office and do the exact opposite. I think they can be tricked, but at the same time, they actually care about what the words that are being said.
There is also a tremendous amount of people, right, that have been, or basically signed a contract. They're gonna go, and now they're gonna bat and they're gonna field for their new team.
Yeah.
You got a whole new wave of young fucking people doing that now.
Yeah. I think in the South, I only saw the minority demographics. Amongst black people over the age of 30, 60-something% voted for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 primaries. No, 2015 primaries. Yeah, 2015 primaries between Bernie and Hillary. And under 30 years old, 60+% voted for Bernie Sanders. And I think there's just a divide that's going to happen. And I think it's going to lean in Bernie's favor. Well, it's going to lean in a policy, someone who has policy. It's going to lean in their favor. Like, that's even become a catchphrase. These guys with empty platitudes. That's become a saying.
Yeah.
Especially like Beto O'Rourke. I think they're going to find the same thing with the Pete Buttigieg guy. Towards like, what's your actual policy, man? Not enough for us. We had Barack Obama. We will not allow a face to shift our votes. We need a actual message with something behind it. Not just charisma. Where was I? Toasted Network says, Mike Gravel says, says he's not planning to win. Yeah. I heard his name coming up a while ago. And it was just about pushing all the other candidates to the left. What I want, you don't need to there's certain candidates you don't need to push to the left anymore. You don't need to push for Bernie or a Tulsi. Or maybe you could probably push Andrew Yang a little bit, especially with that Russia fucking comment. But these other candidates, don't push them to the left. Push them out of the fucking way. Get them the fuck out of here. We don't need to nudge them to the left so their policy is better. Just get them the fuck out of here. Straight up. Eliminate their chances of being president.
Well, The idea is to do it to themselves.
I don't want to hear.
They're
Corey.
They're gonna do it to themselves.
I don't want to hear Corey Burlick. All right, you convinced me. I'm Medicare for all now. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to hear you change all this. I don't want to see a Hillary Clinton.
I don't want to see a fucking chameleon up there. It's gonna fucking say whatever the fuck they can to get elected. And you damn well know.
Or to save face. Like, I'm not getting elected now, but
they're gonna do whatever. They're gonna do whatever they can to get elected. Meaning whatever. Chameleon. I'm for same-sex marriage now. I'm against it, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pro-war. I'm anti-war. I made a mistake. You made a lot of mistakes. Maybe you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go work in the mailroom, work your way up again. How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a metaphor, folks. Right?
Yes.
All right. Langston Travis, right now? I don't know what you mean, or what you're questioning. Maybe we answered it. Matt Hunter, America is the real terrorist. Mike Gravel, 2020.
Matt Hunter, how are we anti-white? Didn't answer that question, so until then.
I'll at least read the comment, though.
You can read the comment, but until we hear that answer.
Jay Breeze, what is your stance on universal health care? Well, first of all, Donald Trump is racist. Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny, but do I believe he's racist?
I think that shit's gonna die too. That's a part of the facade thing.
Do I believe Trump is racist? No. Do I believe he's a corrupt businessman who is also a murderer and doesn't care about the well-being of people no matter what ethnicity? Yeah. So go with that, but don't just go with it. Like, look into it. You know, fuck that guy.
He put quotes up, so I guess it's making fun of
my bad.
The SJW types.
My bad. Didn't.
Jay Breeze, did y'all see that video of Cortez doing an accent? What the fuck is that shit about? I did not see that. I heard about it.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't watch it though. Was it like her trying to be extra Latina or something? Or what?
Watch out for that shit.
Was she making an appearance in the Bronx? Had to change her accent around.
I do not trust that girl, man. I don't trust that girl, man.
Jay Breeze, I can't figure it out if she's joking or thinks she's talking to retards. Langston Travis, I agree with you. I guess, I don't know.
All right.
Matt Hunter, she was talking to retards. Jay Breeze, yo, loony tooty booty check looking ass.
Did you see that? Yo, loony toony booty check looking ass. Fuck.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Oh, good.
Alright, there's a fuck ton of videos on this shit.
Yeah.
Look at this. Someone just said, alright, titles. Typed in Cortez accent, went to videos on Google. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has an accent, all caps. And it says, right, Breitbart. Watch Ocasio-Cortez attempts accent at Al Sharpton's NAN conference. AOC speaks in new accent, quote, this is what changing the country looks like, quote. I don't know who this is. You remember this dude. We watched one of his videos before. AOC fake accent is typical Democrats when speaking to blacks. All right, YouTube. Candace Owens mocks Ocasio-Cortez fake black accent. So this might be bad. This might be fucking bad. All right.
Full on, what's his name? Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, you know, I had fun making the movie. Sam Jackson's like,
Wait, what happened?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, dropping M-bombs.
No, when he did an interview and his voice completely changed.
Yeah.
He was on like a black TV channel or something.
Yeah.
And his voice changed.
Hey,
if it's a vibe, if it's a vibe thing, I don't mind.
I guess.
The point is, what's her policy? Still missing in action.
Hey.
See, she should be just I don't know, something that lets us know the pulse of the nation. That the nation's ready to have better ideas when not her as the queen of it. Like, no. You're just a role being played for the other guys to come in, For the people with the better ideas to get realize that they can get elected.
Yeah.
Jay Breeze says, dude, it's really fucking weird. She's trying to pander to black people or something. Yeah, maybe. I would not be surprised.
Listen, pandering to anybody's fucking creepy. Like, you know what I mean?
I do ask the question if it's subconscious, though. I would make a distinction there.
Fair enough.
If I had to guess, it's subconscious.
What?
And she needs to do some
All I'm
work.
saying is, this is not the time and place, you know,
Yeah.
to make mistakes. Like, you should be ready. You should be that moral champion as soon as you fucking accept that position, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even before, like, you know, you're already ready before you even take that spot, you know? This isn't...
Yeah.
Well, you know, I dropped my my Legos. Time to build them back up again. Like, no.
That's why I talk less about her and more about what the people, for the most part, are caring about. Like, oh, you pick this over this corporate Democrat who's been long standing there, who has all the money to win the campaign. You picked her out of that. So it's like conspiracy. Either it's a setup and she's like some shill thing, or people actually want to be. Well, either way, I think people would want it.
Yeah.
Better things to happen. Manager says, "How are you anti-white?"
Yeah, I asked you the question, and so until then, you know, I'm waiting, or we're waiting. How are we anti-white?
Jay Breeze says, "You gotta watch that shit." We shall watch that shit.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch that now?
Real quick.
In between topics.
Yep. Boom. That's fast.
First fucking thing.
Make sure it's just straight up like her talking.
I want to just see that. Is this it?
Thank you, everybody. I'm proud to be a bartender.
God damn it. That volume something.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy.
Oh,
there is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work. There is nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America, and there is everything dignified about it. I, in fact, am encouraged when people remind the country of my past, not because of anything about my story, but because it communicates that if I could work in a restaurant and become a member of the United States Congress, so can you.
Okay, the first part, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Then she sort of evened out.
Yeah.
But there's still a minute left.
I know. Keep going.
What we need to do in radically deep problems is propose radically visionary solutions. Because radical doesn't mean crazy. Radical means addressing the root, addressing the rot. And that is why we have proposed a Green New Deal for the future of America. That is why within that legislation, and rather within that resolution, we do not shy away from bold conversations of healthcare, housing, and education as human rights, of living wages and dignified work, of policy that isn't just drafted with the next election in mind, but also with the next generation in mind.
All right, let's just go find someone else's video.
Policy.
Maybe we missed something. You know?
It was like, no, the beginning I heard it, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I heard it clearly.
Yeah,
that beginning part, but maybe she got tired and just like, just gassed out. Just fuck it. Speak normal.
It's one thing if you really fucking talk like a certain way.
That one, that's when she started sounding a little more normal.
Yeah.
And here, listen to the beginning of it. She adds like a twang or some shit to her voice.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to...
Ain't nothing wrong, dude. That was a rap. Look at that shit. Tell me she rapped
go
right.
go back to the beginning. Hear that? Listen to that beat. Listen to that beat.
Thank you, everybody. I'm
she knows what
proud
time
to
it
be a
is.
bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work.
Hey.
There is nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America.
There, Lou's like, that's right.
All right, so I guess people are going off of that, the beginning part.
Maybe.
The rest sounds a little more just normal.
Yeah.
But
It's one thing if you really talk like that, but in every video I should hear you.
What if Al Sharpton like pulled her aside? You're gonna talk like this now. Right?
An amazing grace. How sweet.
And then you pour some holy water on him, he burns. Ah!
Where am I at? Matt Hunter. Who would you say is more to blame for the wars and conflicts all throughout modern history? A, the West. B, the Third World. Just answer A or B. What do you mean by modern world? Is there a cutoff date? Jay Bruce says, dude, what the fuck? I can't believe people like this exist. He says, no, fuck that. That bitch has never spoken like that. Jay Breeze, did I mention free watermelon? I mean, goddamn, son. This shit has got me really fucked up.
Fuck.
That began it.
Come on.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't fucking talk like that.
She was spitting the first,
first
couple of bars.
Here's the shit. It's like I don't hear you talking like that. Right? And if you switch that on and off, that's kind of bothering me a little bit.
Yeah. Who knows if it was a vibe thing though?
I don't, dude. I don't.
I mean,
fuck.
Like we hear
not here. All right.
We hear Barack Obama do shit like that.
He's a creep.
Like when he's in front of like a black audience.
Yeah, he starts sounding like what?
Like MLK.
Like a fucking pastor. Like a
We need to bomb Iraq.
When it's not predominantly like black, it's like, we need to bomb Iraq.
Yeah, I know.
And Dave Chappelle with like white powder on his face. You're goddamn right, we do. You're goddamn right.
Muay Thai says, go to the ANC and watch videos. Go to vids and go to top rated of last year. Why? What's there? Is that a porn site?
You see that?
Why? That's hilarious. We should have timestamped that. Whatever.
Matt Hunter, it's people who are ignorant and who are corrupt. The reason to blame for war. It's not white majority. So until then, right? I'm gonna ask you again. How are we, or how am I anti-white? How? So until then.
Jay Breeze, I wish someone stood and said, "Bitch, why the fuck are you talking like that?" That is weird. I must get like. It's fucking cringy.
Do you remember?
The Tarantino shit is fucking cringy too.
We're working out.
Oh, don't say names.
I'm not saying. Yo, I don't do that. This time.
Fucking dry snitching.
There's being petty, then there's being understandable of the.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
It's like, hey guys, how you doing? Like, hey man, working out? Yeah. Let's work out. Another dude shows up. What's up, guys? What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah.
Oh man, all these girls. He's like, and then the guy that showed up prior. Yeah, all the hoes. It's like, what?
You didn't explain that right. You got to set that up a little bit.
Oh, what?
Say like, okay, there's this dude.
Oh, my bad. Oh, right. Just, here, I'll do better, right? One of the Brady Bunch shows up, right?
Yes.
And then we got Ludacris shows up later to exercise. You know what I mean?
That's not helping because it's a different thing. Like Luda has that southern Atlanta accent. The dude we're talking about has more of
My bad.
uptown.
My bad.
Harlem.
I got you. Cameron shows up later.
Harlem, uptown.
Cameron shows up later. You know.
Yeah.
I might say Joel Santana. Joel Santana. Hey man, you want me to spot? Joel Santana shows up, right? Get some like lifting in. You know what I mean? Working out and stuff like that. He starts talking about girls and stuff like that. Man, all these girls, man, it's crazy, man. I have a side chick though. That's what you gotta do sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Brady, instead of saying, "Huh, it's a wonderful bottle of water you have right there," gosh darn it, quite parched. He joins in the conversation about girls. Yeah, all the hoes, man. All these and the side chicks. It's like what? The fuck?
Like a 90s comedy. Just a DJ shows up out of nowhere, just screeches the record like.
And you're in the back like Scary Movie 3. It's like, oh hell no!
I didn't even hear it though, right? It was you got. I was on the side.
I told you about it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I was just on the side.
What the fuck is this?
That's funny, man.
Tell me if you were there, it'd be way funnier.
It'd be way funnier.
Blah. You answered that, right? You answered Matt Hunter's thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Breeze, she was spitting the first couple of bars. Look at her mannerisms, the way she says it, the rhythm of how she... You know what? Listen to the rhythm.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work. There is nothing wrong with being a working person in the United States of America. And there is everything.
Young Money.
She got the rhythm.
Rockefeller.
Throws it down and nothing leaves. I'm out. All right. Give me a timestamp.
All right. That's enough. Enough jokes. All right.
Real quick. Chris Hohenheim. Do you think Iran is supporting terrorism? I would not be surprised. I think they're probably supporting like this super religious types.
Yeah.
Like they'll give those guys a chance.
Mm.
And there's a good chance a number of them are terrorists. But at the same time, it's like, what about Saudi Arabia? Qatar, like Trump cut funding to Qatar, but Saudi Arabia he didn't.
No.
And now if you're going to go with terrorist countries or terrorist militaries, what they're doing in Yemen.
Not only that, you could look at the Israeli government as well.
Exactly.
So
there's plenty of people that believe that. But Iran's always been like this potential thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're potentially going to be this thing.
Yeah.
So we need to take care of them now.
Like what?
Or they label certain groups like the way Israel labels Hamas.
Yeah.
Like this is a terror organization.
Mm-hmm.
They do that with Iran.
Yeah.
So whatever Iran affiliates with, Hezbollah, whatever, it's like now those guys are terrorists too.
Yeah.
Thus, they're a terrorist organization. Thus, we have any means.
Carte blanche to do whatever the fuck.
Whatever we want.
Yeah.
Blank check.
Whether it be invasion, economic warfare, sanctions, etc., funding rebels.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick, last three comments.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Breeze, Vietnam was about the free market of the U.S. sinking its teeth in the opium and keeping from China and Russia. That's my theory. That's probably part of it.
Not far off at all. No.
I'm sure it's mostly to do with resources and
I'm
very,
sure.
very little to do with communism. Matt Hunter, so what was it about before the U.S. got involved? I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I think you already know the answer that he's going to say to you. I haven't been paying attention that much. Jay Breeze, I'd guess French colonialism, probably trying to do the same thing. Yeah. Haiti, if you're in regards to France, Haiti is the most notable name I can think of.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. There we go with 25-25.
Alright.
God damn it. This is why I wanted you to do it, so I can go on to the topic like it's planned at a certain point. Do you know what I mean? Let's go with 25-45. Yeah. Alright, for our last topic, I showed James this one video that the New York Times did that Jimmy Dore retweeted, and he was saying, I'd love that, I think it was, fuck, I forgot her fucking name. Joanna?
Alright, hold on. Let me just say this real fast.
God.
War is a combination of corruption and ignorance. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's what it is. War could represent what? A war of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That could be either pandered to the group who are actually fighting. At the end of the day, who wins the war? War.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So until you're gonna get philosophical here,
Yeah.
By any means of force, right? Either you cannot claim good. I cannot force good onto anybody. So colonialism, imperialism, right? By any means, no, it's not okay. War is not okay. So once again, how am I anti-white? And until then, dude.
Chris says Iran sponsors Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Syrian regime. The question is if these can be seen as terrorist groups. The West and Israel would say yes. I would say no about Syria. That's a democratically elected government. I don't think I've heard of terrorist groups doing that. Hamas, they're also democratically elected, and somewhat. But those guys are a response to how Palestinians have been treated, at least how they feel about it. If Palestinians feel like we're being genocided or it's an apartheid, they may go to the extremes and vote in the most extreme government, most militarily extreme government to fight back.
It's understandable, right? When you have a group of people who are ignorant, right? Group of people, ignorant, and something crazy happens, or constantly, no?
I would say it's something you can understand, but it's not an understand as in it's allowable.
No, it's not.
It's like, fuck you
No,
for
I
that.
understand why this happens, or how it happens.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, right? So when they elect someone that's fucking like you could say, like an Adolf Hitler,
Yeah.
Group of people have been bombarded or affected catastrophically by some sort of war or some sort of event or events, right? And then you see this happen, a group of people who are ignorant, ignorance.
Yeah.
What that truly consists of, right? Then these events happen, they play out, whatever have you. Then there's desperation that's involved in fear. Then decisions are based off not only ignorance but fear.
Yeah.
And then someone like this can get elected, or some other group can come into power.
Yeah.
And now there will be what's the word? What do you call it when someone gets bombed and the other side meets back with that?
Retaliation.
Retaliation. That's it.
Yeah.
So I understand how this stuff can happen, but by no means is it okay.
Yeah. And by the way,
You can't justify it. You cannot.
and if I understand this correctly, I believe Palestinians are getting tired of Hamas. They're like, you guys need to go.
Yeah. Don't give them any room, right?
Yeah.
Don't give them any room to say, see, Hamas did this. That means everybody here. There should be no excuse. No excuse for anybody to have some sort of argument that, oh, see, they're terrorists.
Yeah, and guys like Netanyahu wants them around so he can expand.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of his platforms. That's part of his platform is to expand the West Bank. It's like, fuck, you're taking it off, man.
Did you write it down?
Let's change the timestamp to... Let's change it to 1:30:05. All right, our last topic is going to be Jimmy Dore making a response to a New York Times.
Did you write 24?
Change it to 1:30.
1:30:05.
05. Yeah, I didn't see the 1 hour there for some reason. Anyways.
Whatever.
So we're going to talk about...
Okay.
We're just react to Jimmy Dore responding to a New York Times video about Venezuela. And it seemed like a piece of propaganda. I believe I showed you. And this is fucking interesting. The lengths that corporate media will go to. It's like, these things never made sense to me. Like, why is it so pro-war, like something bad? Like these establishment type things, like the New York Times, or the senator from here, or the president.
Who owns the New York Times?
How are they always on the same team about these type of things?
Who owns the New York Times?
I don't know who owns them.
Do you know where they get their information from?
Well, they probably listen to whatever the government spokesperson.
You could say
says.
Information quite possibly coming from the Pentagon.
Yeah. And I understood this before as, like in the past, I understood this as them having access to the biggest names in the media, which is, whatever, the Pentagon or a major or a general or a politician or whoever. They would have access, so they have to be like somewhat nice to them about it. That's how I understood it from the past. But nowadays, it's like being blatantly honest is what seems to get you the viewership. Not the names.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear from fucking Adam Schiff. Well, maybe they do to make fun of him, but they don't want to hear from him. They want to hear the actual information. That's why I'm saying this election, this go-around is different than those past ones. So many candidates, you better start focusing on policy. With the internet, so many news sources, you better start looking for what's the most honest or most truthful. So this is Jimmy Dore reacting to the New York Times, what he calls propaganda. I might agree with him, but I'm not as, let's just say I'm more ignorant about it. But here we go. What was the...
So the New York Times did it, they had this Johanna Hausman.
That's her name, Johanna Hausman. 1630.
And apparently she's a comedian. I don't know her. Grammy never.
Nope, don't know her.
So apparently she's a comedian, and she's done videos for Univision or something where she's gotten like 4 million views on several videos. I saw that. So they had her do the New York Times produced this op-ed.
Guys, we'll get to comments. We'll probably let one little segment go, do comments, and go back to the second segment because a lot of comments come.
Yeah.
Of her doing CIA propaganda about going into Venezuela. And I'll show you a little bit of it. Here's a little bit of it.
There is total chaos in Venezuela. Hunger, lack of medicine, and latest, nearly the whole country had a blackout.
Okay, and see, she never tells you any of the reasons for any of those things, and she makes you think it's because of socialism or Maduro or Chavista. It's because the United States and Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is overproducing oil and knocked oil's prices down from $100 to down to like $28 a barrel now. And then the United States puts sanctions on. Just like with Iraq, those sanctions aren't there to bring democracy to the people. They're there to bring a country to its knees so we can then steal their natural resources. So that's what we're creating these economic problems in Venezuela, the United States, by our sanctions. The rapporteur on Venezuela, the UN rapporteur, said that our sanctions rise to the level of a war crime, what we're doing in Venezuela. That's the UN's rapporteur. That it's a human rights violation. What we're killing people, it's our sanctions that is causing. And how did the power go out? Again, she's pretending to not know. So that's what this is. This op-ed is a lie. And it's pro-coup, pro-invasion, pro-Trump narrative in Venezuela.
No, Jimmy.
Jeez.
Jimmy.
Fucking loud.
Turn the volume down. Jimmy, it's about Supreme Court justices. It's not about voting your conscience. It's about Supreme Court justices.
In the States focuses on what Trump is doing about Venezuela, and rumors are spreading that the U.S. is considering military intervention.
All options are open.
This movement on the American left against any U.S. involvement in Venezuela is gaining traction. We've got Noam Chomsky, Roger Waters, Oliver Stone, Boots Riley, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Jill Stein, and Bernie.
Why have you stopped short of calling Maduro of Venezuela a dictator?
Well, and of course, we've got this lovely guy.
Donald Trump, hands up Venezuela.
It is not a good look when your slogan...
So
That sounded like AOC doing the black accent. That was Maduro trying to speak English. Hands off Venezuela. He tried. Just came out awkward.
Or what?
Like AOC trying to do an accent and him trying to speak English.
Too different. Too much sound like you're enjoying a meal.
I guess we're not supposed to like Boots Riley, Jill Stein, Oliver Stone. Those are all negative people.
Those are Russians.
See, those are all weak.
Uh-oh.
There's lots of other people who are against. So this is propaganda. So do you see how propaganda works? You know who thinks about this? So she doesn't show you evidence. She just goes guilt by association. Look, we don't like these guys, right? We don't like Bernie Sanders. It's crazy. This is how propaganda works.
You wanted to?
Oh, are we at that like in between?
Not yet.
All right, let's keep going.
And there's a big thing she's not telling you, and I'll tell you in a sec.
Is co-opted by a tyrannical dictator. Now, Trump usually...
He's a
Who makes faces and tyrannical dictator?
And then you hear the music in the background? Go back.
And I'm playing this through Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
So that we don't get copyrighted for it.
I know.
Crazy. This is how propaganda works. And there's a big thing she's not telling you, and I'll tell you in a sec.
Is co-opted by a tyrannical dictator. Now, Trump usually...
Yeah, Looney Tunes.
Dictator.
It's for children. They think you're children. I keep going back to the political race.
They think you're...
I keep going back to the political race. And it's about we need to be bold and strong together. Bold new ideas. It's like we're not fucking children.
You know what that reminds me of? Here.
It's the younger people. It's the ones that are younger.
See this?
That are asking for the policy. It's the old people that are like, you said bold. I like him. He likes the Bible.
You're in 3rd grade. 9-year-old, 8-year-old Jordan.
Yeah.
Game Boy. Here you go. You're playing it. You're playing the Game Boy. You fucking. It's 8:30. It's a little late for you. You see, it's time for you to go read a book. Be best for you. No. It's what's best for you. Don't fucking talk to me like that.
See, that wouldn't fly in my household. I get my way.
It's prototypical. Or stereotypical is what I meant to say. All right.
Just steal your dad's black box and watch Playboy. That's all you gotta do.
What are you?
I'm old. Black box.
Are you like 40?
You kids don't know what that is. All right.
Is allowed to have a black box. We had the cable box.
Yeah. The only time these guys side with Trump is when it's war-based or...
Yeah.
He's a tyrant. And again, Maduro, she says, is a tyrant. Oh, no, Trump is corrupted by a tyrannical dictator.
Loves authoritarians, but this time it seems like it's the liberals who are siding with one. Now, I am not a pro-Trump military hawk.
So in Venezuela, Trump is for getting rid of Maduro, and she says, oh my God, the liberals are siding with a strongman dictator, Maduro. But if you're siding with Trump, you're also siding with Trump. What? I'm told Trump is a puppet of Vladimir, of a foreign enemy, a hostile state, that he's a traitor to our country.
Yeah, Trump wants to leave Syria. It's like, well, we want to stay. Well, they'd say they want to stay there regardless. That's what makes them look so bad. That's why they're losing ratings. That's why no one's reading their shit unless they're there to laugh.
But you can't trust them.
Yeah.
Like, they have proved themselves untrustworthy.
And I can't believe they're still going. Like, how you guys don't see your business tanking? Like, I can see you tanking in an amount of time.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Now, unless
writing's on the wall.
Unless they know that, and the people working within that organization, right? The faces, like, you guys just play it safe, play it cool, play like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
And eventually CNN goes away, right? Then you have a new organization that pops up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so imagine this. The Rachel Maddow. See, she's anti-war. We got her a while ago.
Yeah.
Hired her a while ago. Now, 10 years later, you know.
Now she has nothing to say about war.
No.
It's all about Russia,
So,
as far as I've heard.
So imagine...
The only time I hear about her is Russia.
Imagine a cycle. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, see, you're going to be anti-war, anti-this right now, but give it a few years' time, you know, we're going to become this. So imagine a new CNN, imagine that. But it's internet, and it's independent. Watch out for growths of those independent media, you know?
Oh, we saw that with the Trump era. Correct?
Well, I meant by massive scale.
We saw that with the Trump shit.
You know what I fucking mean.
Right? TYT became the heel, and
that's what I'm
someone like Jesse Lee Peterson rises up.
Yeah, I know.
And Rebel Media rises up, and he's fucking weird.
All right, let's continue.
So he's not now? Again, their logic is backwards and upside down and inside out, and this is guilt by association, and they have this woman who's a comedian tries to be cute about it. This is how you do cute propaganda, I guess.
For reference, my spirit animal is Ruth Bader Ginsburg in workout clothes. But this movement is dangerously glorifying a brutal dictator and promoting inaction.
No, we're not glorifying a brutal dictator. What we're doing is we're not codifying the pretext, the CIA's bullshit pretext for invasion or a coup, and that's what you're doing. How many dictators allow their opposition leader to hold rallies in the middle of the state capitol?
It's like not much for me. It's like not much I really can say. I mean, he's just taking care of it for me.
Yeah, I know.
You know? All right, keep playing.
Okay. Again, they had elections. The opposition didn't participate. It was the Maduro wanted to have the UN come in and certify their election. Previously, the Carter administration had said their elections were some of the best. The people who have horrible elections are us.
It's the worst combination.
And by the way, if you're really worried about poor people in another country, she said, so she's doing that thing of, oh, I don't want invasion, but we have to help them. We can't do nothing. If you really cared about poor people, turn your head to the right and look out your window, because there's a tent city right outside it. If you're in New York City, there's a tent city right out. You know, if you're in D.C., there's people eating out of a fucking garbage can right now. So there are more people living in poverty in the United States than there are people in Venezuela. So anybody in the United States who says we have to help people in Venezuela, before they help, they'll step over a dead baby in the United States so they can go give aid to somebody in an oil-rich country. You get what I'm saying? Because that...
How many subscribers does this guy have? 528 and counting.
That'll grow substantially.
And counting.
Yeah. That's gonna
tell us if
skyrocket.
Jimmy's wrong. Tell us if Jimmy's wrong. We'll get to the comments though.
For ordinary Venezuelans. First off, if you look closely at these protests, it's very unlikely you'll bump into, an actual Venezuelan.
So now she's being snarky about people doing protests in the United States against our United States government intervening in Venezuela. And now she's going to...
All right, you guys know where this is going. Mm-hmm. The rest of it, it's just going to be what Jimmy Dore considers propaganda, and
Are we gonna get
considering whatever research I've done would consider that propaganda as well.
We can get to the part where it's like, you know.
We'll get to that part. That's section 1. We can start reading comments now.
Right.
1630. 1632 or something.
Yeah. All right. Matt Hunter and Jay Breeze are having a conversation. All right.
Yeah, you're right. We should get away to put the chat like on the screen where we can see it. That would be helpful.
Already answered, Matt Hunter. Chris. Off topic, but should Russia return the... Can I say that? I don't know how to say that word. Islands.
Kurila Islands back to Japan. If they stole it, yeah. I'm ignorant on that topic.
Yeah. But you could say this, right? If any country has some sort of colonies, you know what I'm saying?
Or annexed land.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, how'd that come about? Is it right? Is the right thing to do?
Yeah.
If not?
Yeah, simple answer.
Yeah. If anything, everybody should be helping each other out, so I don't... You know what I mean here?
Yeah.
Like... That conversation's funny.
They're murking each other. That's right. Kill each other,
Oh.
and I'll take over your space.
It's gonna have to become a philosophical argument, you know.
Maybe.
We're talking about what's evil here. What is evil?
Yeah.
What's the difference between good and evil?
Maybe. All right, let's check out this second portion where we expose, not us, Jimmy Dore sort of exposes this Johanna Hausman. The chick doing the New York Times video, the smirks and the Looney Tunes music being played.
Mm.
Let's find out who she is. I hope I bookmarked the right spot.
When Juan Guaido goes to the barrio. And as Ben Norton points out, the New York Times spread the Iraqi WMDs lie and the Kuwaiti babies and incubators lie. Now the New York Times is failing to disclose that Johanna Hausman is the daughter of the elite Harvard economist working with the Trump regime to privatize Venezuelans' oil industry.
What a coincidence. Fuck, she just happens to be...
And that makes it that much more creepy.
It's very weird how this happened. This seems to happen so often.
Yeah.
When something happens and it looks fishy or you're already skeptical, you take a couple minutes to look into it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like this video with the Johanna, whatever her name is. What is it? Johanna or Joanna. Let's say Johanna. Johanna Hausman.
Say Hausman.
Watching this video, it's like, I've heard everything of the opposite of what you're saying right now. All the information I've been hearing has been the opposite of this. This is the same talking points as the establishment media. So it's like, but could she be right? And all I have to do is click on, because this video is on Twitter, all I have to do is click the comments, and you're like, okay. Oh, you're the daughter of what? Okay.
Like you said, rings a bell, right? The baby's being thrown out of the incubators.
In fact, he's going to play that video, I think. He is, or he did.
Kuwait babies and incubators lie.
Yeah.
Her dad was also a board member of the Venezuelan Central Bank before Chavez, under IMF rule, when poverty was the worst in the country's history. Here's the UN human rights investigator for Venezuela debunking everything she says. And so they link to that video that Abby Martin did with featuring the special investigator, the rapporteur from the UN on Venezuela. The subtitle, An Ocean of Lies on Venezuela. Also, so here is her dad, Ricardo Hausman. So Anya Permpel tweeted out that the same thing they failed to disclose. And then her dad, who is, again, let's remember, board member of Venezuela's central bank before the socialist revolution, so he's part of the problem. He says, this tweet surely deserves at least an honorary mention among the year's most sexist comments. Since Joanna Hausman is my daughter, she's not entitled to her own opinion. She must be speaking on behalf of some male figure that tells her what to say. Seriously?
That's why the SJW shit's going to die out at some point.
Yeah, that's going to go away.
Because the corporate people, I'd say the corporate people are going to use it so often, then they get exposed for something that's corrupt, and now, say, oh, you can't just fake a look, you can't fake a message, and then we'll love you. Mm-hmm. You have to actually have substance to what you're saying. I don't think I need to play any more of that.
No.
I was more of this video came out. Looks like a well-produced, great cinematography, music, editing, charismatic person talking, somewhat famous charismatic person, a comedian. I think she works for Univision, which is like Spanish speaking only or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those audiences have different, famous people than we do. I guess she's one of them. And then this exposure.
Yeah, she's fucked.
But who knows if these people ever hear of Jimmy Dore or like a Ben Norton or
what
Abby
I meant
Martin.
was, as far as your squeaky clean
Yeah.
image, whether it's an hour later, that's going to come back and bite you.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to remember this shit. Yeah.
Well, our listeners will know because they can have a friend playing the...
If they're, look.
They can have a friend playing the Joanna Hausman video at a party, be like, hey, check out what's going on in Venezuela.
If there's care involved...
Nap, here's this Jimmy Dore video from Chicago.
If there's care involved, you're looking into that individual, particularly, you'll find that. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're cold. All right.
All right. We'll wait for any comments in a little bit. If nothing, we'll be peacing out.
Yeah. So, just to address what I was saying prior, right? As far as the questions that are asked to me.
Mm-hmm. From Matt Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right. He said, "Let's take Vietnam as an example, I guess. Who would you say is more to blame for that conflict? White majority France and U.S. or non-white majority North and South Vietnam?" Like, for one, why are you singling them out by white majority this? And but if your claim is that I or we are anti-white, that's one thing. For me, I look at it as a group of people who see some sort of business opportunity. By a group of people, that means a group of people, regardless whatever their national. Huh?
You tapped out.
What do you mean?
You said you weren't answering unless.
I asked him. He's like, okay, answer me this.
Oh, that's his answer for how we're anti-white.
I'm guessing I'm going to read it, and I'm going to once again address it. But the thing is this. I was going to say this. If he thinks that I'm siding with the majority, right? You're siding with them, then they're majority, they're not white. Why do you always do that? You anti-white? If that's where he's going with this, it's not the boat's going to fucking sink, Yeah. It'll sink fast. whoever's being taken advantage of, whoever's being done, done injustice, that's who I'm going to side with. Good. And they could be ignorant too. You know what I'm saying? If two sides are fighting each other in any sort of way, whether it be, right, you could say the U.S.-backed Israeli government and Palestine, and the sad thing is, like, one pales in comparison to the other as far as power, because on top of that, a superpower is funding you, Israeli government. Palestine, right? You've seen the fucking... Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Their example of, like, weapons or whatever. Mind you, it's guns. Guns are guns, right? But I mean, as far as who's funding you? Oh, Palestine. Like, it's just you. You know what I mean?
They get some funding.
Sure, but not U.S.-backed.
No.
Not U.S.-backed military-grade weapons or jets or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying here? Oh, so, like, that's like the argument, like, oh, well, what then? Well, what then? Oh, see how both of them are stupid? See how both of them kill people?
Yeah. Real quick, Langston says, yeah, shut somebody down quick for posting that bullshit on my Facebook.
So, let me get to this.
How come the names just get them credibility automatic? New York Times. Oh, it must be good.
Can you let me get to this, please?
Yeah. I scrolled up a bit. Or scrolled back down.
Oh, good. So.
Yeah.
Who's more to blame?
Corruption is what you
it's corruption that's to blame, right? And you go after the individuals who are involved with that corruption. Okay? It's literally a group of individuals, regardless of whatever ethnicity that they are.
Yeah,
it's very simple. So then he asks, so what was it about before the U.S. got involved? Before the U.S. got involved, right? You can look at Vietnam, what happened there, right? And I don't remember specifically what, but as far as
Is that the Gulf of Tonkin?
The Gulf of Tonkin incident.
The Gulf of J.R.R. Tolkien.
Right?
That was a bad joke. Go ahead.
Ship gets sinked. Gets attacked. You find out, never happened.
I'm not an expert, so I don't know that one too well.
Fair enough. I'm going off of what I remember. I could be wrong about that. Well, I do remember, as far as someone that's credible, as far as Ryan Dawson was talking about it. All false pretenses. You go into war. What do you get the people to riled up about it? Okay, let's see. All right. We're going to go off this whole fear of communism.
Yeah.
It's fear porn. Oh, communism. Oh, no, they're going to take over our way of life. What are you going to do, guys? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
They're coming to get you. The Red Scare.
Yeah.
That's a thing, all right? So, who do I blame? Oh, I blame corruption. I blame people who are corrupt. And I also go after people who are ignorant. Like, you shouldn't be here if you don't know what the fuck's going on. As far as a position of power, like a politician. You shouldn't be here. You should be a finished product before you even step onto that podium. You should be able to say, I know what's right versus I know what's wrong. You should be a finished product. You should be, like, in a way, like the equivalent of fucking Batman. That's what you should be on that podium. You know what to do. Not, oops. Colonialism is evil.
What? You're the one answering, so go ahead.
I already answered this, but I'm giving it a quick run through. Any act of force against somebody against their will is wrong. The act alone is evil. The people aren't evil. They're ignorant. Because if they knew the difference between good and evil, then they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, if they wanted them there, why not? But I guess we wouldn't call it colonialism.
It wouldn't be colonialism. It wouldn't be imperialism. It's like, hey, come on down. You know what I mean?
I think it'd still be... I think it just has a negative...
A negative vibe.
Yeah.
People commonly probably put imperialism with colonialism, but I get I'm going with the social, the social understanding of the word.
Yeah, I meant colonialism.
All right, can you scroll down?
It's like, why not set up colonies if people want you here? I read that. Those are those guys talking. You're going too far. We're right here with Matt. I'll read it. Matt Hunter, I think the relationship between a slave and a slave master was for centuries merely indifference. When slavery was outlawed, as it should have been in the U.S., it was for political reasons, not altruism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could argue it still goes on today. And by who? Corrupt individuals.
The rich and powerful versus the not so rich
Sure.
and powerful. If you want to call it that. That's just perspective. It's not the legal term
Well,
of
to
slavery.
me, I look at it as this. As far as anybody that's willing to do something like that, right? Regardless of whatever ethnicity that you are. It's ignorance. Right? Then out of ignorance can come corruption.
Yeah.
If you know what's right versus what's wrong, if you know what's the difference between good and evil, like you know it, then you wouldn't partake in any of these things. It's that simple. So am I anti-white? No. And that's the end of that.
Yeah. I don't need to defend myself.
No. If you want to get serious, dude, fucking bring to the table some actual questions instead of that soft, shallow...
I like Jay Breeze's answer. Yeah, I would imagine slaves in the U.S. were not considered humans, so the indifference from the enslaver's point of view makes sense, right? If you're just cattle, then not with all people. I think there's plenty of
people who are like,
what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Also, he also said, I don't think slaves were indifferent about being enslaved. Yeah. Unless there's some that become like institutionalized. Like I'm sure there's generations where like there are people going back in, like wanting to stay in the slavery because they were just used to this routine, or maybe they didn't have the most hardship, like they weren't in the fields and shit. They were in the houses and they just got used to it. Like, oh, I get to watch the kids and hang out and I read to them.
Well, a part of it, right? It could be conditioning.
Or whatever.
Conditioning, you could say.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing, right? Just go on top of what you said. Hopefully I'm not repeating it, but it's literally like, if I leave this system right here, which I'm being provided for, what?
Good.
What?
Good.
I leave this system which I'm being provided for as far as food, sanctuary, out there.
Yeah.
Or I most likely will probably get persecuted. And, I can understand how that would happen.
Yeah, just like prisoners. I gotta go out and get a job, but I have a record now. It's gonna be hard to get a job. Steal my joke from me that I'm gonna steal from Langston. Sorry. Langston Travis, I drink a shot of Rumpelmans every time James mentions Batman. Look at you, spreading peace and love, getting the world drunk. One Batman reference at a time.
I wouldn't necessarily make an analogy with, being drunk, but whatever you want to do.
Matt Hunter, so a person forced into rehab or a mental institution against their will has had an act of evil committed against them. Yeah. Yeah. The action. The person could be fully empathetic.
Right, remember I made the distinction, right? There's the act alone, then there's the person who's ignorant enough to partake in the act. Okay?
Now, at the same time, if this person is absolutely unaware of choice in the first place, like a baby, you don't just say, why are you controlling that baby? You gotta let them crawl where they want to, and they just crawl into fucking traffic and shit. It's like, well, you should think about it. They may not know they have a choice of things.
Right? You could also look at it as, right, as far as like some not even, actually.
Yeah.
No, that works. Yeah.
Jay Breeze says making black people pick cotton is not helping their well-being. No.
Well,
unless they want to.
Taking a group of people against their will.
Yeah. Unless they want to.
And as well as,
then that wouldn't be someone making them. They'd be doing it on their own.
And as well as, right, people within that, right, that own community, that group of people within their own community in another country, continent, whatever the fuck, their own people selling a group of their a group of their own people off.
Yeah.
That's called corruption.
Yeah.
So whatever way you put it,
And indifference is corruption in my book.
Yeah.
But I might get what Matt's saying when he says indifference.
Yeah.
It means they're not like hate. It's not hate. But to me, indifference, you should be caring 24/7 about everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just...
That's why I would call it, I would say there is no racism. I usually say, you see why they're calling you racist?
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's ignorance. Really.
Yeah.
Ignorance, conditioning of the individual, or the lack of an individual, the potential of a true individual.
Ruben Garcia says, what's going on here? James is getting Langston drunk by mentioning Batman. We should make that a new game for UFC nights. I'll find whatever tactic I can to get this guy to mention Batman somehow. I bet I can do it. I'll be sneaky. He's going to forget I even said this. You watch.
I'll remember this. It's not a game.
Manager says, so why did they tolerate slavery for so long? Sometimes as many as 100 slaves versus an old man, old woman, couple, sons. Whitey had to sleep. There was no cameras or ATD back then. I don't know.
Look at this, right? Yeah. How many people, how many civilians are there in the U.S. as opposed to politicians?
A lot to a little. Yeah.
Now, why is that? Why do people just let politicians lie to them all the time, lie them into wars, or as far as influence them into making,
comfort.
Yeah. Fear. I'll just change the walls around. The mouse will fucking, you'll follow.
Yeah. I'm surprised Matt Hunter doesn't bring up one of the first American slave owners was a black guy. I'm just giving him more ammo. I'm just saying. The point is corruption, Matt. How dare you. Jay Breeze. A rehab or mental institution is an attempt to help the person. Enslaved working for no pay is not a good comparison. Yeah.
And intentions, right, as well. You understand what I'm saying here? Intentions, even if the act is wrong.
That's the thing.
Do you understand what I'm saying here?
That's why we isolated the action on its own.
Well, I already did that. You separate the two. There's the action, right? Here, how about this? Ready? All right. It's September 11th, 2001. You're 19 years old. The next day, the next 2 years, you're being told... What?
Why you stop yourself? Keep going. Pause.
The next 2 years, you're being fed shit. You're being fed that, we need to go at war with Osama bin Laden. He did this, da-da-da-da-da, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in a cartoon world, where it's just, they can't lie, it must be. A group of evil people attacked us. They hid our way of life, da-da-da-da-da, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to go fight them. We have to go stop them. Now, as far as a childish perspective, right? All right, makes sense. You know what I'm saying here? Now, the intentions of that individual who probably partake in such a thing, as far as really believing in that,
yeah,
it's like, oh, your intentions might be good, right? You think you're doing the right thing, but you're ignorant to what that truly is. How do you know they didn't lie to you? How do you know that really happened? You just say, yeah, yes, daddy. Go grab a gun, go on. You get what I'm saying here? The intentions have to be, the individual has to be taken in consideration here. And the act must be separated. Looked at it itself alone, right? Is the act alone evil? Is the person evil? No, they're ignorant. If they knew what they were doing, if they were fully aware what the fuck they were doing, truly, then they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
There's a separation here.
Yeah.
I don't know what I have to do to fucking, At the end of the day, it's literally, right? Whoever disagrees with me, it's going to be your own individual exercise to really come to conclusion, you know, come to this conclusion, or whatever one that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we brought that up, Matt Hunter.
What?
He says, and how do you explain the hundreds, thousands of slaves that, when freed, returned as some as long as years later? What? Returned some years later, asking to be made slaves again. Yeah, we sort of talked about that already.
Already talked about it.
Institutionalized. Right?
I'll say it again.
What's his name in fuck, never mind. Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
What's the dude's name? To do with the bird? To do with the bird. He hung himself when he got out of jail because he was like, fuck,
I don't remember his name.
I want to go back to
jail.
jail.
I don't remember his name. Right, point is this, look. You have a group of people, right, who come into a new country, right, completely foreign to theirs, customs, language, way of things. All they know is, oh, I'm being made to do this thing over here. I got chains on me. Or, if I leave, I'm going to get shot. I'm going to die. Okay. Years go on, right? You grow accustomed to these situations, scenarios. Even if you're not being tortured, even though being held against your will is torture.
Yes.
All right. You grow accustomed to it. Maybe you learn their language a little bit, right? As far as this scenario goes, right? Specifically, right? People from Africa or wherever being enslaved. After the Civil War, right? They're freed. By political reasons, no doubt.
Yeah.
I guarantee it was not a moral decision. Based off of evidence.
For some people, it was, but they probably didn't have a hand in the process.
I'm sure.
I'm sure there's some.
I'm
senators
saying.
too.
What I'm saying is the person that Lincoln.
The guy who gets the credit for it.
Yeah, I don't think that dude's any type of moral champion. When you have a group of people, right, who have been, right, constantly like, all right, you're gonna stay here, do what I tell you, or you're gonna die,
or be punished.
Here's the thing,
they
right?
want to keep the labor around.
Sure, no, you want to keep it. It's, you know, it's a business, you know.
Yeah. Which may be worse than hate.
Sure, but here's the thing, right? When you have a group of people, right, not only them, but everybody else, not just this, like, just not the slave owners or the masters, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, and this, like, everybody, right? There's a common, you could say, a common indoctrination amongst all of them, and ignorance. So when they get freed, right? There's ignorance going around out and about, right? You think, like, is it fear that's keeping me? Like, is it fear that's, like, going to tell me, well, let me stay here. I got food. I got a little house, you know, or whatever. I got sanctuary. Or go out there and be persecuted by any means.
Or just not have
as much.
Start
just starve.
From zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think a lot of people, right, would do that, even today.
Yeah. For sure. Ruben Garcia says Bruce Wayne. Who's that?
I don't understand. What is this?
Jay Bree says because that's all they had done their entire life. Yeah. Yeah. There are people, right? Jeez. Slavery ended 1865. It was going for what? Probably over 200 years. I don't know the exact dates. Over 200 years. So that means there's generations that were born into it who didn't know any other way of life.
It becomes, in a way, that amongst a group of people becomes a culture.
Yeah.
It becomes a culture.
Yeah. Alright. Matt Hunter says, and what if these fucking words. Unbeknownst to those that had the person committed, the person did not have a drug or mental problem. That's a continuation of the mental illness thing. And what if, unbeknownst to those that had the person committed, the person did not have a drug or mental problem?
I already told you.
It's a mistake.
It's ignorance.
It's like, oh,
but the act itself is evil.
Yeah.
It's called force, right?
Also, are we using today's standard of mental institutions towards like drug them, shut them up, give them a room? Or do we mean like a better version of that? Why stop at good ideas and bad ideas in that scenario?
Because
Why
as
not
far
cover
as
everything?
help would go, right? It'd literally be like, like, come over here, man. Like, let me help you out.
Yeah.
Not grab him.
Jay Bree says, damn, bro, you old as fuck. Guess when you started talking about 9/11, maybe?
I was like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old when that happened. I mean,
yeah. I was in 8th grade or something, 7th grade. Matt Hunter, when you say intentions, you are presupposing what is good and what is bad.
No, I know.
Well, yeah, we are presupposing that.
As far as that scenario, right? Yeah.
Well, any scenario presupposing good and bad. Ruben Garcia says, Bruce Wayne is blank's real name.
Understand what does that mean?
He wrote it as a puzzle.
What is that? What is this?
Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is blank's real name. What persona does Bruce Wayne play?
Wait, is this an inside joke? I'll call him the Dark Knight. I don't give a fuck.
That counts.
I'm putting 2 and 2 together now.
Langston, if you're watching, take a shot.
Read the comments from before. What does this mean?
Anyways.
Coward.
Ruben Garcia says, it was blank. It was the blank thing we mentioned earlier. Don't worry. Batman. Ruben Garcia, I was 8 years old when 9/11 happened. Yeah. And the fucking reaction. I don't think we would react the same today that we did back then. But then again, did we need that to happen in order to
No.
fucking learn something?
No.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take some sort of catastrophic event for anybody to go, oh my God.
Well, an exposure needed to happen for sure. Right?
Sure, but it didn't have to be that.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't the exposure. That's the thing that kicked off the exposure.
You know what I mean?
We're going to Iraq.
Yeah.
Jay Breeze, we got moral compasses. Yeah. Matt Hunter, no offense, guys. How can you be so purposely obtuse? You bought your moral compass from a pawn shop.
Your viewpoint must be very shallow for you. No offense.
How can you be so obtuse?
How am I obtuse?
I don't know. I could see how it would come off as, what did I do? All right.
It may come off as that, like when you're not asking.
See, you define good and bad first before. That's how you can presuppose something. You have to explain it logically first. So.
All right. Better words.
That's something I haven't wrote down yet. I probably tried to explain it, but didn't write it down so much. All right, Jordan's hungry. Stars got hacked, so American Gods, like the next 5 episodes, all got released.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sucks they didn't do that to Game of Thrones, but shit happens. So I'm gonna read. Guys, get your last comments in, then we'll be out of here.
Purposely.
Let it be known. What? What did I say? I thought I said that.
That was more of a clarification.
Purposely obtuse. I wouldn't say you're doing that. I keep my shit 90 degrees or less, bro. It's moral compass.
That's funny. All right.
Also, pause, sir. Pause for that one, sir. Keeps his shit 90 degrees.
Alright. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you feel like. Always comment. You know, you got a comment section for a reason. Let it be known. We're right, we're wrong. Especially the political stuff. This is more of a throwaway. Jimmy Dore killed it. Let him go watch his video. I would do that instead. Please donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. Link in the description box. It's not for us. It's for one of our subscribers, Pyramid7, and his wife. Help them out by donating. Help pay their medical bills. Any amount will help. Yes. And with that said, you guys have a good night. Our loyal fan base. We're growing. One weirdo at a time. One fake black accent at a time.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What you know about poverty? Call your boy up, okay? Alright. That's it from us, guys. Peace out. Oh, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.